All right, so we are doing more adding, subtracting, and multiplying radicals today. I wrote these out of order, so we're actually going to start with this one, and then we'll come back to this. All right, so we have a binomial, radical binomial squared, okay? So what that means when it's squared is really you have two of these. They're multiplied together. So we have 3 square root of 3 minus 4 times 3 square root of 3 minus 4. Right? That's what that squared means. You have two of them being multiplied together. So, same as yesterday when we have two of these, binomial times binomial, you can either take the first term and multiply it by both terms in the other parentheses, and then the second term, do the same, or you can do your box, okay? I don't know which way y'all like better because y'all are virtual and y'all haven't told me which way you like better. So I'm just gonna multiply by distributing. If you like your box, then by all means, draw your box and multiply them out. You will get the same answer, okay? Oops, square root of 3 minus 4. All right, so 3 square root of 3 times 3 square root of 3. 3 times 3 gives us 9. And then square root of 3 times square root of 3 gives us square root of 9. So we did the first term and the second term. Now we're going to distribute our first term to both two terms in the second set of parentheses. Now we're going to take this negative 4 and distribute to both. So negative 4 times 3 square root of 3 gives us negative 12 square root of 3 again. And then negative 4 times the negative 4, negative and a negative make it a positive 16. Okay? And then we have like terms here. Okay? A negative 12 minus 12 more would give us negative 24 square root of 3 plus 16. And then we can also simplify square root of 9. We know the square root of 9 is 3. So we have 9 times 3 minus 24 square root of 3 plus 16. 9 times 3 is 27 minus 24 square root of 3 plus 16. And then 27 plus 16 gives us 43 minus 24 times square root of 3. So this would be our answer, okay? I did it step by step. If you noticed, hey, these are like terms and wanted to go ahead and simplify square root of 9 to be 3 at the same time, you can do that. You would get the same answer even if you did the box method. We'll look at this way next, okay? So all I did once again is squared, so I had two of them identical. First term, multiplied it by both terms in the second set of parentheses, and then took my second term and multiplied it by both terms in the second set of parentheses, and then simplified. Okay, when it's cubed, right, raised to the third power, that means you have 3 identical ones. Okay, so what you're gonna do is combine 2 at a time. Take your first 2, combine them, then take that answer and combine it with the third one, okay? So you can do box method for this, or you can do the distribution method. Either way works. We did distribution last time, so we'll do box this time. Don't forget the minus signs, they do matter, okay? So we get square root of 3 times square root of 3, which gives me the square root of 9. Square root of 3 times a negative square root of 2. Your negative stays out front because it's like negative 1 times 1 out front. Underneath, we put our square root 6. Same here, negative square root 6. And then negative 2 times negative square root of 2 times negative square root of 2. Negative and negative makes it a positive square root of 4. Okay. So, what I notice is that I have a square root of 9. Well, we'll go ahead and write it out. Square root of 9 minus square root of 6 minus square root of 6 plus square root of 4 because it's positive. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. And then square root of 6 minus square root of 6, you have negative 1 minus 1 gives you negative 2 square root of 6. Okay. And then we have 3 plus 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5 minus 2 square root of 6. This is your answer when you multiplied just these two together. Okay. Now we're going to take this answer and multiply it by our third one. So we have 5 minus 2 square root of 6 And then we're bringing this one down. Square root of 3 minus square root of 2. Okay? Because these two, when multiplied together, equal this. Right? So now we have to take this answer and multiply it by our third one. So I'm going to make another box. So I have 5 minus 2 square root of 6 and square root of 3 minus square root of 2. So 5 times square root of 3 is just 5 square root of 3. Negative 2 square root of 6 times square root of 3 is negative 2 square root of 18. And 5 times negative square root of 2 is a negative 5 square root of 2. And then negative 2 times square root of 6 times negative square root of 2. Negative and a negative make it a positive 2 square root of 12. Okay? So now we have 5 square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 2 minus 2 square root of 18 plus 2 square root of 12. I know this is a long one. Sorry, you guys. Now we need to simplify the radicals. Okay? So I'm running out of room. Let's look at square root of 18. So we get 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. Some of these y'all might start to remember. So this is 2 and 9 because 9 is our greatest perfect square. So we're going to rewrite square root of 18 to be square root of 2 times square root of 9, and I'm going to simplify it right here to save space. Square root of 9 is 3, so we get 3, square root of 2, okay? So square root of 9 was 3, and then we brought down our square root of 2. So here, I have 5 square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 2. We know these two do not simplify, okay? The only thing that multiplies to be 3 is 1 times 3, and to multiply to be 2 is 1 times 2. We have minus 2 times 3 square root of 2. And then we're going to do 12. So we get 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. And 4 is my greatest perfect square. Okay, so we get square root of 3 times square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Bring down your square root of 3. So plus 2 times 2 square root of 3. And then we want to simplify. So 5 square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 2. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6 square root of 2. 2 times 2 is 4 square root of 3. And then last but not least, you need to add your like terms. So we have a 5 square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 3, which gives us a 9 square root of 3. Okay. I'm running out of room there. We're going to write it here. Sorry, you guys. Equals 9 square root of 3. Okay. Because 5 plus 4 is 9. And then we keep our square root of 3. Those are like radicals. And then we have negative 5 square root of 2 minus 6 square root of 2, which gives us a negative 11 square root 2. Whew. And then that is your final answer. These next ones are just finding the area of the squares below, and then we'll do rectangles, and you're done. So area for a square is like the area of a rectangle. It's just length times width, or it's your side squared. Okay, so we're just multiplying this by itself twice, okay? You can either say length times width, or you can say that side length squared. Either way, you're multiplying it by itself twice, right? So you get 4 square root of 3 times 4 square root of 3. Length times width, right? So we get 4 times 4 is 16, and square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. And we know the square root of 9 is 3. So we get 16 times 3, which is 48. That's our area. Here's the same, but instead of one term, we have 2. We have 1 minus 2 square root of 2. So we're just multiplying it by itself 2 times, length times width, right? Or your side squared, okay? So once again, you can use box method or you can distribute, okay? So I'm just going to distribute. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative 2 square root of 2 is negative 2 square root of 2. And then we move on to our next term. Negative 2 square root of 2 times 1 is a negative 2 square root of 2. And negative 2 square root of 2 times a negative 2 square root of 2. Negative 2 times a negative 2 makes a positive 4. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. Okay. Now we want to simplify what we can and combine like radicals if we can. I'm going to bring down this 1. Negative 2 square root of 2 minus 2 more square roots of 2. Negative 2 minus 2 is a negative 4 square root of 2. And then we have plus 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. So we get 1 minus 4 square root of 2 plus 8. And then we have like terms, 1 plus 8. So we get 9 minus 4 square root of 2 as our final answer. All right, last two, we're finding the area and the perimeter of the rectangles below. Okay, so let's do perimeter first, because to get perimeter, all you do is you add up all 4 sides, right? So what I'm going to do is go ahead and label the opposite sides the same. Okay. All right, so we have opposite sides that are the same, so I know these are like radicals, and I can add those together. So I'm going to say 2 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 5. And then I have 3 square root of 3 minus 6 plus 3 square root of 3 minus 6. So 2 plus 2 gives us 4 square root of 5. And then 3 plus 3 gives us plus 6 square root of 3. And then negative 6 minus 6 is a negative 12. Okay, we can't simplify square root of 5 or square root of 3. So this would be my simplified answer. Okay, that's our perimeter. Now we're going to look at area. Okay, so perimeter, you just add up all 4 sides, right? Area is your length times your width, which means we have 2 square root of 5 times 3 square root of 3 minus 6. Okay. So what we're going to do is just take this one term, and we're going to distribute it by both terms inside of the second set of parentheses. So 2 square root of 5 times 3 square root of 3. 2 times 2 is 6. 5 times 3 gives us square root of 15. And then 2 square root of 5 times a negative 6. 2 times a negative 6 is a negative 12. I don't have any other square roots to multiply my square root of 5 with, so I just bring it down. Okay. We know we can't simplify square root of 5 if we simplified the square root of 15. You just have 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. None of these are perfect squares other than 1, so we can't simplify square root of 15 either. So this is our answer. Okay, we're doing length times width, right? So I'm doing 4 square root of 6 minus square root of 2 times 5 square root of 2 minus the square root of 6. All right, so I can go to distribution last, so I'll do box now, okay? Because these are bigger terms, I'm just drawing my box bigger, but you don't have to. So we have 4 square root of 6, and then a minus square root of 2. And then we have 5 square root of 2 minus square root of 6. Okay, so 5 square root of 2 times 4 square root of 6. 5 times 4 gives you 20. Square root of 6 times square root of 2 gives you square root of 12. 5 square root of 2 times a negative square root of 2. 5 times a negative 1 is negative 5. And square root of 2 times square root of 2 gives you square root of 4. 4 times negative 6 gives us, right, so 4 times a negative is a negative 4, and then square root of 6 times square root of 6 is square root of 36. Negative times a negative would make a positive, and then we get square root of 2 times 6, which is 12. Okay, so now we're going to list everything out, and then we're just going to work on simplifying it. So I have 20 square root of 12 minus 4 square root of 36 minus 5 square root of 4, and then plus square root of 12. Okay. Well, if I'm looking at which ones would simplify, okay, I know I can simplify square root of 12, so we'll just start there, okay. Simplify square root of 12. So we have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Your greatest perfect square is 4, so we're using 3 times 4. So we're going to rewrite it to be the square root of 3 times the square root of 4. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, square root of 4 simplifies to 2, and then we just bring down our square root of 3. So I'm going to replace square root of 12 with what is equal to, which is 2 square root of 3. So we get 20 times 2 square root of 3. They're multiplied because this is 20 times square root of 12. So if I replace square root of 12, then this is 20 times what I replaced it with, which is 2 square root of 3. Minus 4 square root of 36. We know simplifies because square root of 36 is a perfect square. So this simplifies to be 6. So we get times 6. Minus 5, and the square root of 4 is 2. So we get times 2. And then we already know square root of 12 simplifies to 2 square root of 3. So plus 2 times the square root of 3. Now we want to simplify everything that's being multiplied and then see if there's anything else we can combine, okay? 20 times 2 gives me 40, square root of 3. Negative 4 times 6 is a negative 24. Negative 5 times 2 is a negative 10, and then plus 2 square root of 3. So we have two sets of, we have like terms right here, and then like radicals right here. So 40 square root of 3 plus 2 square root of 3 gives you 42 square root of 3. And then negative 24 minus 10 is a negative 34. That would be your area, okay? Now we want to do perimeter. I had written it wrong here, I gotta redo it. All right, so for perimeter, you're just adding up, all right, opposite sides, okay? Or you're adding up all 4 sides. So we get 4 square root of 6 minus 2, and we know that would combine with its opposite side. So we get plus 4 square root of 6 minus, oh, and this is square root of 2. This is what I did earlier. Got the square roots on my 2's. All right. And then we also know these opposite sides would add together. Okay. So plus 5 square root of 2 minus the square root of 6 plus 5 square root of 2 minus square root of 6. So 4 square root of 6 plus 4 square root of 6 would give me 8 square roots of 6. Negative square root of 2 minus the square root of 2. You have a negative one of them here and a negative one of them here. That means you have negative 2 of them. Okay. And then we get 5 square root of 2 plus 5 square root of 2, so we get plus 10 square root of 2. You can already see that I have like radicals right here. And then if you have a negative square root of 6 here and another negative square root of 6, you have negative 2 square root of 6. So we have like radicals here, and then we also have like radicals here. So 8 square root of 6 minus 2 square root of 6. 8 minus 2 gives me 6 square root of 6. And then negative 2 plus 10, it's a plus 8 square root of 2. And that would be your perimeter.